going live. Let's hope that it works this time. I didn't have the message, so I guess that this time this is working. This is the second time in a row that I have it going live. Yeah. Let's hope that yeah, the sound is great now. I just had to come back because I was before, but it was telling me that there was a problem. The internet was unstable, which is not true. The internet works perfectly. I have no problems with the internet because I've changed nothing except that I rebooted my computer, but that's strange. However, here we are. And I went into Google Chrome instead of using Firefox. I have more and more problems with Firefox, actually. So not really happy with that. And I see that maybe I'll have to change again back to Google Chrome instead of going into Firefox. I don't know. We'll see. Because there are stuff that simply don't work anymore with Firefox. It's very strange. We'll see. I'm not particularly into one or the other. It's just that I want to use the one that works, right? Great. So welcome again. I'm very happy to have you here. I'm happy that it seems that it works at least. Now, this little problem with that I had to come back and start this again. So I have to see if. Oh, yeah, great. I love this. Yeah, except that now I'm not in Facebook, and let me see, I'm not neither Facebook nor Twitter with Chrome, and I'm not going to do this now. So anyway, you see, this is all the thing that. Anyway, we're not here for that. We're not here to talk about technical problems. We don't care about the technical problems, so we're here for other stuff. I love this. So you see, limits or no limits. Wow, I couldn't have called this video better. Limits, no limits, limitless. Gosh, this is one of the things that where I have to just accept the human reality of limitations that are expressed in this reality, where I say, well, there are no reason for having these limitations, because why will we have limitations like that? But then I remember, well, that's not where humanity is right now. We're not in a limitless reality. We are in a reality where we express limitations. We limit ourselves. We limit what we are able to do. We limit the way we exchange, we express. We can't just allow. We have to say, I'm not good enough. We have to say, this is too good for me, or we have to say simply that we are scared. We're scared, and so we have to limit what can happen, because oh dear me, if we allow and then something great happens, can you imagine the deception? Not to be raped, killed, um, robbed, or I don't know, right? Not to be taken advantage of. Oh my goodness, if those things do not happen, what a drama. What a deception. Right. Hey, James. What a terrible thing is if we were to allow reality, to allow ourselves to have a great time, if we were to allow ourselves to experience each other with no fears, and that something, I mean, the amazing happen. Oh gosh, right? Can you imagine? I guess that 90% of human population will be just getting crazy out of being sad because they cannot have drama. Because look, we are setting up our reality into drama. We as right humanity, human beings, we go into drama and we set up everything so that the drama happens. The way we build up our cities, they are built so that accident can happen. They are built so that people get crazy one against the other because it's difficult to really respect one another, right? Respect. It's even not a question of respect, is that we are put in situations where we are competing for the space because there is no space allowed for everyone. American cities are built for cars. So if you are walking, most of the time you are taking, there is no space for you to be there walking. Or I see here where I live, very often now I find the sidewalk with cars on that, cyclists going on sidewalks, or delivery guy putting their truck on the sidewalk, leaving no space for the walker to pass, and you have to go on the street, right? These things are but at the same moment, the delivery guy, he has no way to leave his truck anywhere else because there, we are not creating an environment where that is possible. So we are competing. And the delivery guy said, "Oh, just 5 minutes. I'm not staying. It's not." But those 5 minutes, it's enough for a accident to happen, right? And I mean, we. This is an example, right, of how we are using our reality, this outside in not, it's not outside, but this is our reality, right? This is our conventions, how we experience these things. But we experience these things in a way right now, right, where we are at, where clearly drama. But I'm saying this where I say, you know what? Finding a way to build this living together in a way that doesn't create drama is really very easy. It can be easily done. However, that is too easy. Again, imagine if we had towns, cities, where it was easy to have the space for everyone, where it is not necessary to compete, to put people into competition for their space. Can you imagine? No drama. Can you imagine it? No stress in going out and being with each other in a way that we are not competing. But that's not what we are doing. We are creating competition, even just competition to to go out and walk in a sidewalk. And if that cannot be done without that stress, that competition. And again, how do you do that? Well, you create enough space for everyone, right? You create a city where people can leave their cars easily, and you enter the space of the living where without the cars, without all of those cars, so that you also have the space for delivery guy that or girl. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? Everyone uh, language, where you have that space then that is at our disposal for doing everything. We do not need to have our cars just outside the building. We can have it in a parking lot, right? And build our city in a different way. And this is not to take away anything from anyone, but it's also going to valuing building our space, right, that we create, but having this idea of we build our environment in a way that is human friendly. Human friendly means that we are at ease, we are at peace, we can be in our space without having stress. Our way of living is not it's not human friendly. Cars, the stress that cars create, and I know, I mean, I my previous life I died in a car accident, so yeah, cars make me uncomfortable. Well, it was in a war environment, so there's the war plus the war, but nevertheless it was in a car truck accident. So yeah, I've always been uncomfortable with cars, even worse with trucks, and I just hate them. But it's not just that. It's the noise when you are walking, when you are in a park, when you are in a place. There are no cars, but you're not in a where cars are passing, but they are next. There is traffic, and you hear the noise of the cars, of the traffic, constant passing. That's stressing. It's a noise that stress, and you can realize it when you are in an environment where there are no cars, and you feel the difference. There's a huge difference when you are in that. So it's nothing against the cars. However, it's not the most human friendly thing, right? We need to we create space. We need technology. So far still we need technology to move through space, But you see, there is technology that is not as stressful and making so much noise exist. We can make this car technology to the next level with no noise, with no pollution, with no stuff. And that's where we are getting, right? We're not there yet, but we are moving in that direction. And as soon as we decide to stop giving the priority to some private moneymaker, um, to give priority to those people that are making money out of this technology and out of oil and all of that, because that's what we're doing right now. That's something that is used to not advance. And the problems that we are facing right now, right, that those things that are existing as problems, or what we perceive as problems, are problems linked to technology. It's not human activity, it's technology, and the technology needs to advance, to evolve. And we are in that stage where we can see the evolution. We know what evolution is coming because we are feeling it. It's already there. It needs to be manifested. But we are still holding to that old thing because of interests, because there is always the old, that patriarchal white male, right, that kind of thing that you can see. If you're in the United States, you can see those that are into that energy, that are expressing that in this moment. Mostly you can imagine that expressed by Republican Party, some part of that, or the politicians at least. I'm not talking about those that vote. I'm talking with that idea, right, of political representation. That's the idea, and you have that in every country. In my country, in Europe, you have it. It's always those that say, "Oh, when there are discussions about evolving, changing our ways." It's always those that say, "Oh no, it's not gonna work. We cannot do it because blah 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 blah." Right? There is always an excuse to refuse even trying. It's new. No one ever tried, but they are already saying it's not working. It's not gonna work because, well, they don't know, but it's not gonna work. Right? Anyway, you see, limits, and drama, and it plays so much. But now, this is what it looks like. However, it's only what an impression, because an interpretation. It's it's like with, right, the traffic. You hear the traffic because it's noisy, right? You don't hear the silence because it's making no noise. But what is the car is the minority, because the majority of the space, it's occupied by the silence. So we are focusing on the traffic because the traffic is noisy. We are forgetting all the rest that is making no noise because it's silence. And so, yeah, that's exactly what it is. The majority is silent, but the majority is making no noise. And what is becoming the majority, because right now we are shifting, we are evolving, and this evolution is there and it's happening. And what we can notice is that evolution is possible. Why? Because we have reached a level of support to this evolution that is big enough to expand to our global consciousness, right? That's how you do it. There are those of us that become aware and start the evolution, and then others join in. And as soon as enough of us join in the evolution, then that evolution is able to go to our global consciousness, so that we all then evolve in that direction. And what you see, right, what I was talking about just before, right, that patriarchal stuff that is still fighting against this evolution, that is the old guard that is holding back themselves, trying to stop the evolution. But you see, that happens when it's the end. They have already, we are already evolved. They are the last one to realize it. I always use this thing. I always say, well, we have this idea that there are people that are trying to go in the other direction, and I say, no, they are not going in the other direction. They are not opposing. No one can oppose. In humanity, no one can oppose the global consciousness. So no one can oppose the direction we are all going. They may go in that direction by trying to hold back, but they are still coming. They are behind. They are behind, let's say, right? It's not behind, but they are not following straight those that are initiating the movement, and those that are following the movement. They are certainly trying to stay behind or stop it, but they can't. So they are following with some delay, but we are going all in the same direction. No one can go in the opposite direction. There is no opposite direction. Its interpretation is how we see it. But we are all going there, right? Ascension is happening for everyone, even those pretend that they don't know what it is, that are even trying to oppose it. In reality, they are not. There is no opposition. It's our interpretation. Darkness doesn't exist. How we are defining it, right? It's not darkness. No one is dark. No one is evil or right. It's still interpretation, because the reality is that we are all of us moving forward. Again, each one of us, we have a different path, a different speed. So that some are going very, very fast in that direction, and others are going very, very slowly. And even sometimes you may have the impression that they are going in another direction. Well, no, it's still not another direction. Is another way to follow everyone, right? So we are all going in the same direction. It's very funny, because the impression, those that are making the most noise, yeah, absolutely, you say, oh, this is terrible, and worse, where you go under the impression that it's a disaster. Oh, because they are expressing. But when you really watch into it, is you see that they are not that many. It's not that many. The news are always focusing on that. Remember, I don't know if I think, yeah, you can go back and watch some of my videos where especially where I talk about the social media newscast and those things, right? CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and every stuff like that in the world. It's always the same. If you look into that, and they make a lot of noise because, well, TV, so it goes everywhere. They, if you watch that, you notice that what they do is not information. They are not giving information. What they are doing is that they are giving a point of view. That's all that they can do, because there is no information, there is no news, because every one of us, we have a different perception. So we see things in a different way. And the news comes to us through a channel. So through journalists, through people that are making it. And so they are giving us what they perceive. But then it's a point of view. So it's a belief system. And even if I am creating my news, still I'm right. I am receiving it through a channel. So there is a filter there. And these journalists, what they do is that they pretend to give the news to tell exactly what happens, but they don't, because they can't. Because if you were there personally experiencing it, you will have a completely different perception than this journalist. Science is what? Science is a belief system. It's not a truth. There is no truth in science. Now it works. Of course it works, because we believe in that. Science is not about truth. There is no truth in this reality. So you see, but it works most of the time. And then until you have people for whom it doesn't work, because they don't believe in it. So who's right? Everyone is right. But right, it goes into, remember, right? My perception, my reality, my science. It's not yours, it's mine. But then it's sorry. It's to realize this reality. We are all going in the same direction. We are all connected. So we have, let's say, standards that are applied, coming from belief systems, that kind of thing. But our perception then is coming sometimes from the news. You watch the news and they tell you that something is happening and it's that huge thing. Until then, you realize that it was not a big thing. It was a couple of people. And they were building up a situation into something that is not there. But as you have only that point of view from the news that are pushing that, and they keep pushing that, so you have a narrative that is created where you believe that it's a huge thing. It isn't. It isn't. So the noise, right? The news is making the noise, but the majority is even not aware of it or doesn't care, or right. So we need to realize that whatever we perceive through that we can say it's the external. It's unimportant, because the thing is that in our evolution, in our ascension, first of all, don't focus on ascension. Ascension is happening. Don't worry. But whatever happens, it's your internal. It's your reality. It's your perception. It's you that has to come first. You need to refer to yourself, always, to your knowing. Doesn't matter if news or whatever is giving you the impression that that there is so much noise. Ignore that, because what is important is what you feel, the vibration that you have out of that. And that, so that the reality of our evolution is that it's happening. The reality of our revolution is that those things that are presented as so important, they really are not. Climate change is not important. First of all, it's not what it is represented in the news and now in the mainstream humanity. It's still not that, because that is fear. What is presented is fear. And when you have a situation that is there and you see that's fear, that's scaring, I'm scared, it makes me scared, then you know that something is wrong. You know that something is off, because there is no need to be scared in this here. When you are here as a God, as a creator, as someone that knows what you are, why would you be scared? There is nothing to be scared, unless you believe that this is a reality of suffering, of pain, and that, yeah, someone is out there to get you, to make you suffer, to make you less than, yeah. That's many people that are believing that. But you are not, because you are not that anymore. You are now understanding that you are the creator. So why will you create that anymore? No, you're not. No, none of us is, except the belief system, right? Suffering is a belief system. It is. Because there is interpretation into suffering. So yeah, very much, very, very, very much. When we let go of that belief that the majority, that noise is the majority. No, it's simply that they make noise. When we let go of that and we center to ourselves and we have our experience, then stuff like climate change become noise, which is what it is. At some point, when you love yourself, you know your worthiness, and you love yourself unconditionally, then climate change is no more an option. Something that is happening, right? That noise, not just climate change, but all of that noise become noise. And you center in yourself and you accept that there is noise, but you do not focus on the noise anymore. Oh, it's a reality, it's a truth that obviously, yeah. But it's nothing that you need to focus anymore. You know what it is. Climate change is, in the basic, hate, self-hate. And how can I say that? Because climate change is said to be caused by human activity. But hey, human activity? Really? And we are still here? If that was the case, we ought to have had climate change way before it appeared. And we should already be screwed and gone, done for. because there is no way to stop human activity. We are here to have human activity. So how can you stop that? But then we come back and we go full circle now with what I was saying before, is that what we need is to change the technology, change what we are allowing ourselves to use as technology. So let go of our limits, because we are limiting ourselves into allowing a certain technology and not yet the evolution of it, bringing in new stuff, allowing cars and all of that to evolve into something new. That something new is, as I said, is already existing. We need to let it go and let it come in. Um, and it's not true that there is suppression of technology. I know that many like to pretend that technology is suppressed because there are the bad draconians that are controlling our reality and making us suffer because they are so bad, so mad, right? No, there is nothing of that. That's bullshit. And if you empower yourself and you realize you know you are a creator, you are the creator. So my question for you is, you are the creator of your reality. So if technology is suppressed, who's suppressing the technology? Hmm? Hmm? So can you see how stupid that belief is? Because it's stupid. It is idiotic at a level of idiocy that is simply but there it is. I'm not suppressing technology. If that is not here and now, it's because it's not here now. The moment we're ready for that technology, well, that technology will be delivered into our nows. It's as simple as that. Why are certain beings not in our reality? Oh, because we killed them. No. There may be a story that human beings were particularly nasty, and yes, but then they left our reality. We did not kill. We killed no one. We There is the story that is what happened. Yeah, because that is right. We are human beings. Where are particularly not welcoming for diversity, for other beings, and we still believe that we are the superior beings in the universe, right? That no one is as good as us, that we are the most evolved that we have ever been in history and in the universe, and that we are always improving and improving, whereas clearly that is just a belief system, because we know that, for instance, we're even not able to build pyramids anymore. They are even not able to find, with all the evolution that we have had, all these intelligent, clever people are unable to know how they built the pyramids. Just think about that. Just see how stupid you must be with all the technology we have in this era to be unable to understand those primitive Egyptians, how they did it. Maybe, I say maybe, but maybe, probably, maybe, yeah, maybe, maybe, maybe they were more evolved than what we created them. And they had technology that maybe, I said maybe, we have forgotten, we don't have, or it's gone, or maybe they had something, or more than something. So terrible to admit that 3,000, 4,000 years ago, they were having something that we don't have anymore, that we have forgotten. It's terrible to admit that. No, we cannot admit that because we are evolving. We're getting better and better and better, right? The arrogance behind that. Honestly, the arrogance. We are in another now. We are here in this reality, and it's a different moment, and so we have what we have because we choose it that way. But we cannot project our nows in other nows. We cannot interpret Egypt or any other civilization that we had in history through our nows, because that doesn't work. The pyramids were built, and by the way, they say that they were built. Yeah, there is probably that memory, but they were brought through a dream state, maybe, right? We know that Ra is behind the collective, is behind the pyramids. So they were there, and did they come in a dream state? Meaning that the building of the pyramids were supported by a reality of dream, goes in every consciousnesses of that time that they were built. However, it was more that they appeared in the now, and then there was also the memory of the building. Something like that. But clearly, that is to be seen as a ability that was present in those nows of building those pyramids, and that the technology behind that is not existing, or how to use that technology in order to build those pyramids, it's not known anymore. We may still have the technology, but we are unaware of how to use that in order to build the pyramids, right? So something has been missing out of that, but the hypocrisy and the inability to be humble of our science, of our technology and all of that, is not allowing them just to say, we don't know, which is the only true answer to that. But and also to have the elasticity to just admit that they could possess something that has been lost. But that will just crush the idea that we are that we have evolved into the best technology ever, that we have right. We know that we had at least 4 other civilizations that developed species, the civilization that developed on Earth before we came, before our time, and that those civilizations were very evolved, much more than we are. So you see the idea that life on Earth is evolving and becoming better and better in linear time, that is just no, that's not correct, because those civilizations, they were way much more evolved than we were. Only just the way they were using sound, we have no idea how they were using sound, but they were using sound to create art. They were creating sculptures out of sound. Can you imagine? No, we can't. We have lost that ability, or we don't have that. We haven't developed it as human beings. As this civilization, we are not even close imagining what you can do with sound. We are just now realizing that we can use sound as healing, for our healing. But we are not yet able to go any right further. We're stuck there. But it's even not that we're stuck, it's that we are not, it's not in our now, right? So the technology is there, it exists. We already had it in those other civilizations. So and so it exists. However, it's not ours. It's not here. So no one is suppressing it. And some of it may come, something else may come. I don't know. However, it's not how these conspiracies that is there. So so let's forget the noise. Let's let go of the noise. Let's focus on ourselves, our reality, our nows. That's what we have. Going into those conspiracies, and conspiracies are really luck and are really bringing those people out of themselves. It's fear. It's only fear. And again, when something is bringing fear in you, let go. It's a sign that is not for you. It's not the good information. It's not the good thing. It's awakening something that probably you have the need of work done on it, but at the same moment is that those things are bringing you out of yourself. And when that's the case, run away from it, or run. You're done. Bye. Fear is not part of what we are. It's part of this reality, because this is the existence. This is the way we choose to have it, right? And I mean, imagine for us, we create ourselves in this reality, and we just believe in the separation. We're not God anymore. We are simple human beings that are left by themselves in this planet with no idea of anything, and we start fighting for survival. We have to fight for survival. Well, yeah, imagine that. Well, no, you don't need to imagine, because you have experienced that. So now, though you've passed that, now you know that you don't need to fight for survival. You know that I don't need to lose in order for you to win, right? My winning is not done. So it's not the result of someone else losing. That's a belief system. That's what we have been doing for a very long time. My abundance is not created on the grave of other people. It's my abundance. That's all it is. I don't have to beg. I don't have to excuse myself. I don't have to receive it, because I'm creating it. It's mine. And this is evolution. So I don't have to be scared of being on this planet. I don't have to want to go out of this planet because I'm here and I'm loving it because now I know. So fear, it's not that you're not experiencing fear. Obviously, yes, that's an emotion that you cannot control. It happens. But now you do not need to stay in fear. You can experience it, recognize it, see it, and then take it for whatever it is, accept it, and then let go of it. There is no need to stay in fear. So when it happens, when you hear the news or you hear anything else, spiritual people coming with scary stuff, just go away, leave, leave. It's if it's fear based, it's luck. It's not. These people are not interested in your well-being. Those that are coming to you with fear, trying to sell you fear, what they really want is to have you on your knees, begging for more of that fear. They want to put you in slavery. They want to keep you under control, and fear is a very good way to keep people under control. Why? Because when you are in that state, you will give them more money because you will ask them to save you. They are knowledgeable. They know. Please save me. Save me. Save me. You don't need to be saved. And those people are absolutely not willing to save anyone. They want to maintain ignorance and fear. So that out of that, there it is. And you can recognize under this description politicians. Oh, so many politicians. It's abuse. They're abusing their position, they're abusing their power. Good, great. Okay, let them do it. Look the good that it's making them. It's an illusion. They have no power unless you give them the power, right? But the power is yours. And so when they sell you fear, you shut them down. No one obliges you to stay in that. You can leave. Oh, I mean, you stay in the same country, in your house, you stay, but you just not invite them in. Because if you don't, they cannot come. They disappear. I'm even not aware of what is happening in my country. I'm not even interested in watching the news, in listening to the radio or anything like that. When I watch some news, I'm just I don't even need. I watch some titles, I know some stuff that is happening, but just right, not the details, and just I'm not even going into any detail. I don't need. I know that most of it is bullshit. They are selling fear, ignorance, because that's what they are. Remember, a journalist, people that are making the news, what they are really telling you, what they are expressing really, is their belief system, is their fears. When you read an article where they are saying they are talking about climate change and that's the end of the world, of the human race, they are expressing their fear, their belief system. They're not giving the news, right? We have to be aware of that now. We have to be aware that every one of us is a human being, is a creator, and that we act in a certain way. And when we express anything, we are expressing ourselves. We are delivering ourselves. We are not delivering news, because when I deliver the news, it's through my filters. It's my perspective. Doesn't mean it's not true. It means that in your reality, in your world, that may be different. But when you accept my point of view, then you are accepting a reality. You are making it yours. If you follow what is said in the news, what the science and everything of that, if you listen to that and you understand the meaning of what is said in the science and all of that, then by all means, this reality shouldn't exist anymore. We should all be dead. This is the final truth of the bullshit that human beings are selling themselves. This should already be gone. But we are here. Hi, Roxy, welcome. Right? Pay attention to what is said and the meaning of what is said. I mean, pay attention. No, I just said don't pay attention, but it's not pay attention, it's understand the meaning. Go into understanding the meaning. Don't stop in the appearance, the noise. Don't stop with the noise. Things are transmitted. The news, journalists, politicians, scientists, they are delivering a point of view, a belief system, right? Okay. Now we take that and then we analyze it with our intelligence, with our knowing, with this, right? Our heart center. When we do that, then it appears that if we take what is said, then the only outcome that is possible is the annihilation of the human race. As I was saying before, if what is said of climate change were true, then by all means, this reality ought to be gone, not existing anymore. We should all be extincted right now, because there is no way that with that belief system, with that thing that they say it's happening, there is no way that we could still be in existence. And not just that, take the ozone crisis. With what the science was around the ozone crisis, we should have all died of skin cancer long time ago. We're still here, right? So we have to use our intelligence to see that what is said as a belief system by these people is just stupidity, is fear-based, is selling fear, is the belief system of these people, and that's all they are expressing. They are not expressing an objective point of view. There is no objective point of view. There is only me. And when I'm expressing myself, that's what I'm expressing. Me. When I am, and even now, right, I'm expressing myself, but right, if you allow the vibration, right, the intelligence of vibration, we are, as Roxy says, vibration technicians right now. You can feel the difference. I'm not selling you fear. I am not. So you can feel it. You are not in fear when I'm talking, because I'm delivering you what? I'm delivering you light that is not coming to you, that is not offered as fear. When you are taking the news or politicians most of the time, or even science, you can see, especially when the scientists are talking about yes, you can see the fear, you can feel the fear. You're fearful, right? It comes to you. Oh, I'm well, you can feel it. And again, if what you receive, what you get is fear, leave. It's not for you. And when I say leave, it's not for you, is that fear is not necessary. You do not need that fear, and that fear leads nowhere, because there is nowhere to go with that fear. It leads nowhere, right? We're still here. And let's go back to the science of global change. That science is saying that human activity is destroying the world, right? Human activity is creating greenhouse gases that are creating a shield around Earth, keeping the heat inside and not allowing it to go outside. So, and when you take that and you go, you say, oh, okay, there is a shield around the world. So how do heat come in? Because if it keeps it, it should keep it out. But then when you say that, they say, oh no, it doesn't work like that. Actually, it's not, because there is always an excuse to shield stupidity, right? To keep the stupidity. The science is stupid, but however, there is always an explanation that keeps the stupidity ongoing. But here is the thing around that. Human activity is doing that. Then why did it start only in the 80s, 90s? Because by all means, the effects ought to have been clearly there before. That's the point. But then if you say that, the scientists will say that what? They will say, oh no, but they were there, but we were not noticing because it was still snowing. Again, excuses are always there, right? When there is a narrative, when there is they don't know anything else, so they're prisoners, right? Again, limits. When you create limits for yourself, where you can act only in those limits, in those parameters. So, but still, let's keep that idea of the science. Again, it ought have to have been happening before. Why? Because the industrialization started in the 19th century. And when it started in the 19th century, the pollution that was coming out of that technology was bigger than what we have now. It was huge in a bigger amount because they didn't know what was happening. So in that point, they were just polluting so much more than what we are doing now. But then if I say that, I will receive the answer, oh, but there were less humans, right? Again, there is always an explanation to keep that illusion going. Nevertheless, when you take industrialization, then you come into the 20th century and you keep going with the 20th century. Well, that pollution was still there the awareness of pollution has started in the 80s, 70s, 80s. So until that point, there was no measures that were taken to stop the pollution. So you see, for all those years. And so if those gases are creating a shield around Earth, that shield, by all means, was already there in those years, right? With all the industrialization. So the increasing in temperature ought to have started way before, and all of the 20th century ought to have been happening in that way. I'm taking time to go through this just to show you how the intelligence, if you use your intelligence, your knowing, you can take these things and have a perspective about that, and see how things do not come together when you analyze, when you go beyond the fear and you look into that and you give yourself the allowance to understand what is this. So by all means, it ought to have been happening way before. And so the increase in temperature ought to be much higher. And I grew up for years. My mother, my second husband, sorry. My mother's second husband was a florist, flower, and he had plants and flowers. So we had greenhouses in our house, around our house. So I know what a greenhouse is. I spent a lot of time in greenhouses, and I can tell you this: a greenhouse effect is incremental. You cannot stop it unless you regulate it. And a greenhouse, generally, where we have plants, is regulated. If you take away the regulation, the greenhouse will just keep incrementing the temperature. You cannot stop it. Again, you need something to keep the temperature at a certain level. So this means what? It means that if we were in a greenhouse situation, right? If this greenhouse effect was active, the temperature will be incrementing themselves more and more and more. It's not just it's at 1 degree, then it's 3, then it's 5, then it's 10, right? It goes like that. So what we are experiencing right now is it's not that, right? Because we can keep the incremental in 2-3 degrees, right? No, guys, a greenhouse effect cannot be controlled at a planetary level. So you see, it doesn't make sense. But it makes sense when you understand that what is really happening is a fear-based reality. We enter into this, and so it's fear. It's fearful. So we are selling fear, and by selling this fear, there is a science behind that. Why? Because it's a belief system. So there is a belief system. I noticed that temperatures are changing. Oh, they change. Okay, there is a change in temperature. Why are the temperatures changing? Oh, let me study this. Let me go into study. So one studied that, and so they came out. They say, oh, there is a climate change, and then, but it was not climate change, right? It was called something else. I don't remember how they were phrasing it before, but climate change is the last version of it. It was called something else before, but someone came up with it, right? Some scientists. There is science. And the science has been discovered by a belief system, because the scientists that have started studying the change in climate have beliefs. And what are those beliefs? Those beliefs were that, well, there is a change, human activity, and so all of this science has been built around these belief systems. So it's a reality. I'm not saying that nothing is happening. There is a change. Yeah. There is a change. However, that change is also, well, it's a belief system. That's where we come back to. All of this that I have been saying, all of that is belief system. But what I can say for sure is that we are still in existence, whereas the belief system that is sold to us, the fear-based belief system that is given to us, we ought to be dead in a physical reality where that science that they are delivering to us is true, then by all means, it's by. So the fact that we are still here is, for me, again, my perspective, for me, it's proof enough. It's a belief system, a fear-based belief system that is presented as climate change and this shield around Earth that blah 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 blah, right? All that now. But in the end of the day, what my intelligence tells me is that the key words in that are human activity. That's the key word. That's what I say, oh, that's the thing. Human activity. So the belief system is there is a change. Let me analyze the change to see what is causing this change. Obviously, it's the human activity. Why? Because there is a belief system behind that, right? There has to be a belief system. How do you come to the conclusion that it's the human activity that is creating that change? Because there is a belief system. So what is the belief system behind that? Well, there is a belief system that many human, that a lot, right, that is expressed, and that makes it easy to accept that, right, is that we are unworthy. It's that humans are unworthy of this reality. So I call it hate, right? So you see, when you use this, I use this as an example, is to bring in, there is a belief system behind everything. Now we can take a science, global activity, right? A global happening like that. We take that, we look at the belief system, what is belief is causing it, or what is belief that is happening, and then we go into analyzing it from a intelligence, not accepting the fear as what is sold to us with the fear, and we go and we dig into it, and then we find the beliefs that are fueling it. And in this case is clearly, right, the absence of self-love, call it hate, self-hate, whatever, the willing, or this thing that many humans have, that they want to leave because they're not happy with humanity. So they are not happy with themselves. And there you go. And then you see, you understand, oh, that's why this is out there. That's why. But then you also see, and still we are here. We exist in a reality where, by all means, again, according to that belief system, this should already have been gone. But we are here. I was saying the ozone crisis is exactly the same thing, because following the science of the ozone crisis, the ozone disappearing, right? Again, we ought to be all that of cancer, skin cancer, and we are not. Doesn't mean, is there, do we have, do realities where this go as the fear says exists. So every reality is true. Every reality exists. There is an experience. Yeah, we are having experiencing in we experience Earth versions where those fear are experienced, right? Yeah. Is that this one? No, it isn't. And you know that it isn't because we're here and that we're talking about it, but not experiencing it as the fear is telling the story. Because again, if we take that and analyze it, then we see that the science is not matching reality. The belief system is not matching reality. It's not matching what we are experiencing because we are existent. We are here now. Fuck. That's why I was saying when fear is sold to you, leave. Don't stay. Fear is fear. And again, it's used by some people as a tool of control because again, when a population, when people are fearful, then it's easier to obtain whatever from them. When look how when people are in a position of fear of being in some kind of situation, where do they go? What do they do for support, for anything? The first thing they do in right now is that they go to the government, to the institutions to receive help, whatever it may be. That's the first thing they try to do. They turn themselves to the those institutions, the public institutions. Do they receive that help? Well, not always, not all, but that shows you that if the population is kept in that fear-based situation, what they are going to do is that they are going to give their attention, their energy to the government, to the public institutions, so that they hope for a solution coming from there, because this is what we know, this is what we have been told, right? So in that configuration, are you surprised that no solution ever come from that, but that we are keeping ourselves in that drama state, right? We are building our reality, we are building our perceived countries and all that in that way, in that drama, alimenting drama, keeping the drama alive, so that we are in a we keep that state of need. There is no reason for Americans not to have universal health care. There is no reason, except the reason that by not giving it, there is a constant demanding, and there is a constant need to turn yourself to the government, to the states, to those institutions for help. So it's one reason why. There are many reasons, but and if you go into it, you realize that it's a question of vibration, and there is a lack behind this, right? It's lackful, it's lack, and unworthiness. There is an expression of unworthiness, absolutely, but that is what allows this this situation to exist. Unworthiness, lack, and so Americans feel that they are not worthy universal care. Well, the universal care is not there. Obviously, that's very easy. But that is part of this drama thing, right? Because if, imagine, Imagine if universal health care was existing in the United States so that every American has unlimited access to doctors, hospital, to all that is health. The general health of the population improves because that's obvious, right? It's just a allowance. From the moment that you can easily go to the doctor, well, everyone goes to the doctor, so illnesses are detected earlier, solutions are available earlier, so everyone is health is improving. But that is taking away drama. It's taking away difficult the unworthiness, right? So the problem stays. So there is more need for what? More need for government, for public institutions, because it's the only alternative that you have when you search for a solution for your problems. So you see, it's because the easier, and really, again, solving these problems is easy. It is, people, it is. It is easy. But we are not making it easy. We are not making it easy. And we do not want to admit that it's easy to create a universal health care in every country in the world. Is so easy. And the United States is not an exception. But if you solve the problem, then where is the drama? Again, if we were to solve the problem, to not have the problem, what will people complain about all day long? Their lives will be empty. They will get crazy because they have nothing to have drama with. Unacceptable. So we have to keep the drama. We have to keep things in this way, because then how great, I have drama in my life, I can complain, I can get crazy, I can, yes. Yeah. Solutions are very easy. It's not true that it's difficult, but we don't know it. We don't know solutions. We don't know. We have been kept in the idea of this is terrible, this is a terrible reality in a terrible world where everything is mad, everything is evil, everything, there is a fight, a war between the force of good and the force of hell, and they come and they keep tearing us apart into doing the right thing, doing the bad thing, and yes, and so I don't know, I'm just a little human. That's all we know. So there is no surprise that there is no seeing the solutions, the easy solution. Why do we still have governments? Do we need governments? No, even right now, we don't need anyone in power. Why there is, right? That's the thing. Administering, yeah, absolutely. That's the evolution. Having administrators that keep stuff going, right? We need street, we need infrastructure, yeah, street, railroad, and airports, and all of that. So we need administration. We don't need someone in power. But in a world full of fear, full of those trauma, full of those things, then yes, we need we keep alive the belief that we need governments, that we need people in power. But even that, it's a belief system. And even administrators with that, it's a belief system. But right, we have a reality, we have things happening, so we need a structure, let's say, right, in that idea. We don't, but we do, because right, that's the game we're playing. But the game can be played in a different way, and in a way where we allow the evolution of everyone in a kind environment. But that's not what we know. We know suffering, pain, loss, losing. That's what we are told as a story. And it becomes our belief system, and so then we express it. But it's not a necessity. Remember, our evolution do not depend on those things, suffering, pain, etc., etc. We are not evolving because of that. We are using those things for evolution. It's different, and you have to see the difference, right? If you want. The war happens, and as the war happens, then it is used for the evolution, for the change. It is used so that people can say, oh, I don't want this. This reality with a war, I'm tired of it. I don't want it. And they're able to see it because that war is happening. But that is not because, right? It's not, no. But the belief system says, oh, that's evolution. No, it's not evolution. It's use for evolution. Yeah, it's so different. Oh, well, and James, I'm very happy for that. And if you have question, if there is anything, clarification or anything, just write it there in the chat. We are evolving, and this intelligent, I mean, this is my intention. I'm expressing, obviously, right? Again, I express me. This is my point of view. So, however, as I was saying before, remember, it's an expression of intelligence, of knowing that comes from inside. It's an expression where I say that I know better than science. Am I arrogant for saying that? No, I'm not. Why? Because I'm using my heart, I'm using my knowing to express it. I am not saying that they are wrong, right? I'm not saying that I am the only intelligent. No, what I am saying is that I take what I know, not what the external is telling me. Why? Because the internal always knows better. Because I am a creative being and I am a vibration technician. So I can feel the vibration. I can feel that something from my point of view is off. When the science is delivered to me, when the politician is talking, when whatever that is delivered, I can feel it vibration. So then with my knowing, I see, oh, this is off. Something doesn't really set well with me. Why? And then the intelligence, so the knowing, my knowing expresses itself. So it's another vibration of intelligence where an example that I can give is US. So the last election was in 2020. So 2020 election. Yes, it was in 2020. During all the year, right? Because it's a very long, in time, it's a very long thing. It's just so long. 1 year, oh gosh. Those moments are so involved, and well, anyway. What was presented by the media and by the mainstream, there is no mainstream and not mainstream media. They are all medias, and those that are presented as non-mainstream media and that they are doing what the mainstream are not, that's no, they are all doing exactly the same thing. So there is no stop this thing with this making distinctions between the two. There is what the non-mainstream media are doing is exactly the same thing as CNN, Fox News, and that kind of thing, right? It's the same thing. Then you can have some of them that are vibrational different in the sense that they are presenting things in a different way and they are not trying to play the same game or a game of duality, so of opposing the mainstream, the big medias, and what they are doing their thing, and they are doing their things independently of anything else. So they are delivering a truth, their truth, and that is working outside of that. So it's not, I'm not putting that, but there are those that are presenting themselves as non-mainstream media. We are delivering news the way they don't do. We're telling the truth that they're not telling. That's bullshit. Those are doing exactly the same. Because the moment you have to say we're different from CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC, the moment you have to position yourself in that way, it's because you are doing exactly the same thing. When you are expressing vibrationally, when you are expressing yourself as yourself independently of anyone else, you do not need to define yourself. That's a clue. That's the clue for you to understand, oh, this guy are trying to position themselves in opposition to those other guys. So bye. They are exactly the same. Even that if they talk different, they don't talk different. They are trying to present themselves in a certain way, right? Okay, so anyway, these all media were presenting the situation where they were they were presenting it as a close run. Where Trump could win. That was what was presented. And I knew months before the election, I knew that Trump was over. I knew. I couldn't base my knowing on anything. I could not base it on the mainstream media or the non-mainstream media or whatever was presented. I could not base that because nothing was giving that news, that information. But vibrationally, I knew that we were done and that he was leaving that position, right? So I had a vibrational intelligence that was going in another direction compared to what was presented. But I knew. That's what I'm talking about, right? It's that intelligence that tells you something, that you are analyzing, seeing what is out there, the outside. It's not outside, but anyway, the outside, the perceived outside. It's telling you. And then you have your knowing. So you feel the vibration. The vibration from the outside was, we may have all the 4 years of this guy, but my knowing, I was saying no, and it's even not a close run. By all means, not close at all. So then it's up to everyone to see how you use your technology. You see, because this is also one thing to understand about technology. We are full of technology. Our body is technology. Our mind, we have technology. Some that we perceive, some that we do not perceive, but it's part of ourselves, of what we are. Our senses, right? We have 5 that are mainstream because we know about them, but we have many others that are not mainstream because they have not been labeled. They're not in the belief system, right? Could be the chakra, could be our third eye. It's all vibration, but we express it in this way. So you see, that also part of this technology evolution, the evolution. When we say, oh, the technology is suppressed, but how could it be? No, it's not suppressed. I am technology. I have technology. So you go to you take your vibration, you focus on your vibration, in your knowing, and everything changes. And give yourself that credit that you know. But now I admit that expressing your intelligence, it's not easy, because it demands that you trust yourself to have that intelligence, to be able to express that intelligence. Now, you have never been told that you have that intelligence. You have never studied that intelligence. There are no studies. There is no school for that. But you don't need them. But nevertheless, it's not something that is known. So when you try to go into that intelligence, you may not find it easy at first, because you will doubt yourself. I doubted myself. Yeah, many times. But you reach a stage, reach a moment where you enter into the knowing of yourself, so that when you are in that knowing of yourself, you know your technology, you know how you express it. You are, and you keep discovering yourself anyway, but you know it, so that then the confidence of accepting your intelligence, your vibration, is there. Not talking about perfection. I may have moments where I'm not noticing, or it doesn't happen that right. but it's there. So the perception, the vibration, the whole, it's there. So it's like a muscle. You train it. You train it. You don't know you're training it, but you are. And then it becomes just part of you, just part of what you express. It's there. And so when you are sold the fear, you can't take it because you recognize it for what it is, fear. So you know, I'm leaving. Bye. This is not for me. You don't try to change them. If they want to stay in fear, they stay in fear. It's not up to you to shield them from that. It's if they want to have the experience, they stay in the experience. You don't change what other people choose to express. It's not up to you. What is up to you is do you first, right? So you realize this person, this news, this government, these officials, they are selling me to fear. Bye. I'm out of here. You leave. It's very easy. It is. You just go. Fear is not necessary. And but it's not easy, right? It's not easy. Why? I've been interesting me in myself in cults, and what interests me is the fact that when people find themselves in a cult and that the cult is not delivering exactly what they were sold, why are they staying? But then what I understand is that they don't know anything else. They have been sold a belief that this cult is better than anything else, right, that kind of thing. So that they believe that outside the cult is worse. So they accept the abuse, that they accept to stay, even in that fear, right? Because cults are selling fear, but they stay. And you see, fear is really used for power. And as we are not trained in understanding fear, in understanding the manipulation behind that, and that all we know is manipulation. Look at, I mean, we were raised into some religion anyway, right? And so when you get sold any religion, well, it's manipulation. They have to manipulate us in order to keep us in their beliefs. So the manipulation that comes from that, it's something that we know. So when we come across a cult that is selling more fear or a different fear, well, there is people that go into that. So there is that. It exists. So you see, fear. How do we shield ourselves? It's not possible, but we're trained into that, to be in that position of fear, of being manipulated, because there is a lot of manipulation. That's how it is. And for many of us, that's what that not being awakened is. You are just unaware. You are not aware. And as you live in fear, well, it happens. It's what you get. It's exactly that word of fear, of manipulation. When you let go of that, use your intelligence, you are aware of these things, then you know, so that you can let go of the fear. It's not going to happen to you anymore because you know, right? Fear, you can see it, you can, the vibration, what it is, you know, you feel it, you understand it. So it's not going to happen to you anymore. You don't need to live in fear because it's not part of you anymore. But it's because you know. It's because you have trained yourself. You have awakened yourself. You are understanding it, and so you have the intelligence, and so you see it, and so you don't fall into it anymore. It has no holding you. So why are there out there some awakened people that are falling into conspiracy theories and all of that? It's because they don't know better. They're, you know, being into a path of self-discovery, or what we call spiritual path, it doesn't mean that you understand a fuck. It just means that you are understanding certain things, certain words, certain things, but it doesn't mean that you get it. It means that you have been exposed to it. If you are, and if you listen to the questions, if you listen to transmissions and all of that, and then you pay attention to the questions, you pay attention to what people are expressing, you can see, that the fear is still there, that the separation is still there, that, right, the externalization is still there. So those things are then exposing to some manipulation. When you believe that the external can kick your ass, when you believe that the devil, the darkness can get you, when you believe those things, it's easy to be manipulated. It's very easy. When you believe that there is a shadow government, that those things, it's easy to be manipulated, right? Yeah, because you do not trust yourself, but you don't have, you're not using your intelligence. Yeah. But when you allow yourself, when you awaken yourself to that, and you feel your vibration, you accept your vibration, then you know, you know, fear is gone. Again, you will experience fear, of course, but you don't stay in it. You recognize it, you recognize yourself, and then it's gone. It's fun. Done. Bye. It's a different thing. So, right? Empower yourself. Right, that's what I wanted to say. And so now that hmm, yeah, you see, the empowerment of the self is not something that I can teach or that I can impose or anything like that. It's something that I can share, right? Sharing the light. Then it's up to you. It's up to everyone to choose for themselves. You see the difference between those that go around and proselytes, right? Those that go around and trying to sell their religion, or those that go around and try to buy your vote by selling you a policy, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that. What do you need? Oh, we're going to do that. And you know perfectly well, politics doesn't work that way. It's not because you say, I have this problem, that I can solve the problem. But the dependency, right, leads us to believe, oh, they're going to do that for me. No. What we do is that we share our light. And what it's done with that, it's not in our control or in our anything. That's the absolute abandon, the absolute letting go. It's a completely different world. Because whether you get it or whether you don't get it, and that's all. And by the way, all that I have just said, in 10 years, 20 years, we'll have a completely different discussion. It's going to be completely different. We'll have new technology, new awareness, we will be evolved. So, right, I'm delivering, I've done the moment. I've enlightened the moment. That's all. What will be, but in this moment, this is what we have. So this has to be taken as the moment and nothing else but the moment. We have to allow the evolution, we have to allow the change, we have to allow all of that. And whatever we are now, so what we are now, we are evolving. This is the real evolution, not the bullshit science of Darwinism and that kind of thing that not just requires time, but also requires to believe that things can just happen in that way. Anyway, good. How are you doing, guys? I hope you are great. I'm great. And been talking a lot. I'm always so happy to be in your company and to exchange with you. And well, it's a joy and a passion. And you're special. I love you. And so thank you for joining to enlighten this moment with your presence. And I I will be seeing you in the next now. Be awesome. Bye bye.